Hey everybody, welcome back. This is day 8 of Awakening Astrology course.
Can we hold on 1 second?
Mhm.
Just the drums are wobbling. Wobbly drum syndrome. And
Welcome back, guys. This is day 8 of the Awakening Astrology course, and today I'm going to take you through my own chart, and this will be an example of how to understand planetary powers. So, I tried to make a picture of it and print it off, but I was unable to do so. So the best thing we can do is scroll down. There's an image of my chart. You can use that as a reference point as I talk instead of watching me if you want. It might make a little more sense, be able to associate what I'm saying easier. So let's start, let's begin. A really important aspect of all charts is the rising sign. This is going to determine what you're like. It's going to determine what events unfold in your life. It's going to determine how your body looks and its structure. It's going to even determine some aspects of your health. For my chart, my rising sign is Scorpio, which is ruled by Mars and Pluto. And so we'll start with that. My Mars is in Virgo and is also in my house Aquarius, the 11th house. It is conjunct my Mercury, and this makes it a bit like it's dampened a little bit. It's not as powerful as it could be because it is fused with another planet, Mercury, and Mercury is exalted and ruled in Virgo. So the energy of Mercury dominates my Mars energy. So my Mars isn't necessarily conquering the house or the most prominent energy. More so, Mars is kind of a baby to my mind, to my Mercury. Mars follows orders and will live through kind of my mental world rather than being the hard-working construction laborer, the person that's doing sports. Scorpio is usually the emotional power of Mars rather than the physical power. So that too adds to my Mars not being a very fiery, boisterous energy. Um, Another important position is the moon, and then obviously the sun. For myself, my sun is also in Virgo, also in the 11th house. Same with Mercury, Mars, and Jupiter. This is like a huge area of energy in my chart that signifies a lot of aspects of my life. And I'll get to that in one moment, but first we'll talk about the moon. The moon on my chart is probably the most potent area of the chart because it is exalted in Taurus. And it is also conjunct the south node of the moon. We haven't talked about that yet, but the nodes of the moon represent our karmic path, life and death, our soul's journey, and destiny. The south node of the moon kind of is like what we've already done, where we've already been, things we already know, what we're comfortable with, the stuff we learned in our past lives. And then the north node is the things we need to learn, the new things, what's going to help us evolve. My moon is conjunct this south node, which kind of gives it like a comfortable energy. Like I'm familiar with moon in Taurus, which is kind of like beautiful expression of feelings in inner world. Taurus is the like kind of around the throat area. It's like the neck. It's music. It's food eating in some ways. And moon being in Taurus is really gentle and kind and lovely. Creates a lot of beautiful music and harmony in life. Very much in love with nature, and it being alongside my south node, it's like I'm so used to that stuff. I'm so used to nature. I'm so used to music. I'm like I surround myself with like comfortable people and environments, and it's very nice and steady and peaceful. Um, the south node also has an energy of dissatisfaction, which is kind of like because I've already done it, because I'm familiar with it, I'm not going to feel satisfied or fulfilled just making music or like eating food, having a very zen, chill life. So the north node kind of represents where you're going, what will fulfill you, what will make you happy. I'll talk more about that in depth later, but to continue with the important points of the chart, there's the moon in Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. It makes a link from my moon in Taurus, which if you have the chart, my moon in Taurus is like right here, it makes a link to my Venus, which is at my midheaven. It's the very top of my chart, and it's in the sign Leo. The cool thing about this is that it is it is in my midheaven, which relates to success, career. It relates to how like society at large will see you. You know, people are usually like, that's an architect, that's an engineer, that person's an artist. That's like how people identify you from afar, and that's what the midheaven represents. So my midheaven and my Venus are neck and neck, right beside each other. The way I interpret this is that through art, through creation, through sensuality, through beauty, I'll be able to make a living or a name for myself. It's kind of what I'm doing a little bit. This is also a little bit more than art. It's educational, which kind of represents my sun in Virgo, which is helpful, it's practical, it's trying to assist individuals with logical, organizational things so that a society can be sustainable and efficient and that we can all be happy and not wasting our time or resources. My Sun, Jupiter, Mercury, and Mars are all in my 11th house. This is a huge density of energy relating to freedom, revolution, reinvention, humanitarianism, equality. It's all Uranus energy. And this is kind of represented by me doing this course, Awakening Astrology. I'm trying to help people wake up to a new way of doing things, a new way of looking at reality through astrology. And that's that reinvention energy, that's that freedom. And so just as much as my moon being in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, makes a link, like an energetic connection between Venus and my moon, having so many planets in my 11th house makes an energetic connection between those planets and my Uranus, the ruler of the 11th house. I kind of do this funny thing where I call my Uranus Urtune and I call my Mars Mercury Mars Curry. Because they're conjunct. My Uranus is conjunct Neptune. They're like the same spot. My Mars and Mercury are conjunct. I have a lot of conjunctions in my chart, a lot of things that fuse together and mix to help each other. The Uranus and Neptune are in Sagittarius, which is a Jupiter sign, and my Jupiter is in my 11th house. So there's this beautiful link between my Jupiter energy and my Uranus energy. However, they are squaring each other. So it kind of creates something of a challenge in my life where I have to, the way I see it, I have to be more optimistic. I'm very easily negative and judgmental. So having that Jupiter energy enliven in my life really brings optimism and benevolence to myself and others. Uranus, being conjunct Neptune, has a very interesting quality. So they're very much, Uranus and Neptune are both higher dimensional planets relating to other intelligences and other worlds. However, Uranus is more cerebral and technological, verbal. It's more thought-based and rational-based, whereas Neptune is more feeling and emotion-based. You can think of it like if you see a skit of a drug trip, let's say, and you see all the crazy fractals and waves and stuff, the seeing is Uranus. What you see is like unbiased information. What you feel is Neptune. That's the personal experience of the higher dimensions or the other worlds. Neptune is the dream world. Uranus would kind of be like our interpretation of the dream world or the information we got from it. Because those are fused for me, there is no difference. I don't get to not like feeling and seeing are the same thing in my life. I think logically it's the same thing in everybody's life, but our perception creates boundaries and walls to categorize things so that we can communicate and understand. These separations are very much so dissolved in my perception, and it's very much reflected by my Uranus and my Neptune being one and the same in my sign of Jupiter, which is about expansion of mind and truth and spirituality. This position is also in the house of Venus, which links more power and love to Venus in my chart, and it's also trining my Venus. Additional love towards that type of energy. Artistic, sensual Venus energy is something I'm very akin to, I love, and it appears naturally in my life, and the astronomical or awakening chart shows this very easily. Now, I want to explain my Mars Curie, or my Mercury and my Mars conjuncting each other. That, to me, is about, whereas the Sagittarius, Uranus and Neptune being conjunct was kind of dissolving the boundaries, making it so things are kind of just one infinite oneness. Mars and Mercury together are kind of about bringing together. It's about connecting. It's connecting my physical body and my neurons and my cells with my mind, with my consciousness, so that I can live a focused and aligned life. That's how I see it. And I see, because it's in Virgo, I'm here to help other people do that too. Make it so their actions are aligned with their values. It can be something pretty difficult because we can be chatterboxes. We can create all sorts of values and then act completely erroneous to those values. But I'm here to hopefully help those things link up more and more every day. And that's a quick little niblet of how you can kind of see energies in a chart linking together and supporting each other. You kind of go from one part to the next and see how each planet is connected through the signs, the actual planets, and the houses. And this can show you what dominant energies are in a chart. And for a little summary, you look at the rising signs ruling planet, the sun signs ruling planet, and the moon signs ruling planet. Same with the houses that they are all in, the planet that rules those houses, and then make connections, see what it's like. And then through that, you'll kind of see like, oh, this planet wasn't like connected to anybody. It's just kind of off in isolation, not really relating to the energies of the chart. That planet or that energy might be something that the person could work on, or that they don't have as much of an understanding with. All sorts of ways it can work out. It's going to be different for every chart, of course. There are 3 portions to tonight's assignment. There are 3 questions. Question number 1, or portion number 1, simply just write as much as you know about your chart. You just like let it out, let it spill out of you, and see what comes up. Question number 2, or portion number 2, what do you think is the planet, sign, or energy that humanity at large needs the most right now to balance itself in all of our issues? That can be a really important question to help you see maybe where do you want to go in life? Like, what do you want to offer the world? Just simple things like that can really help guide us. Last but not least is, what sign or energy or planet would you rather be than your own? Or pick a combinations of things like, I want to be Neptune less Pluto and Sun, because I want to be able to understand the deep, dark secrets of death, but also shine bright while I'm doing it. Who knows? You come up with your own feelings and combinations, see what happens. All right, I'll see you next time, and I wish you the best.